Hey there! If you've been planning your version 3.5 pulls now, you may want to hold off for just a little longer. The latest beta changes didn't just tweak numbers, they changed what these characters actually bring to an account. YangYang SP is now much more than another Havoc DPS thanks to new crowd control tools, while Suisui keeps gaining value as one of the strongest universal supports we've seen in recent updates. Meanwhile, Electro Rover receives some quality of life upgrades. So today, let's go through everything that changed, how these adjustments affect their roles, and the bigger question every player is asking right now. Should you pull Suisui or YangYang? Yo, welcome back to the channel. Kamusta po sa inyong lahat? Do note that some information here is not yet confirmed by the devs, so please take them with a grain of salt. A few weeks ago, the answer to this question would have depended mostly on whether you needed a DPS or a support. Now, it's a little bit more complicated because YangYang has been pushed further into the role of a dedicated main damage dealer. But at the same time, she also picked up new utility that makes her more comfortable to play. Meanwhile, Suisui continues moving in the opposite direction because every beta update seems to give her another reason to fit into more teams. Instead of chasing higher personal damage, she's becoming one of the safest long-term support investments in this game. That means your decision shouldn't be based on which character deals bigger numbers, it should be based on what your roster is actually missing. So, if you already have strong carries but need someone who can support multiple teams over the long run, Suisui is looking incredibly attractive. But if you're missing a reliable Havoc main DPS, then YangYang remains one of the strongest candidates out there right now. Now, looking for cheaper than in-game top-ups? Use my loot bar link down in the description and pinned comments for a massive up to 25% in discounts. New users using my link gets an instant 8% discount coupon as well. Trusted with enhanced security features, Loot Bar offers the cheapest deals and fastest delivery time. You can do their do-it-yourself top-up or my personal preferred option, the direct no-password top-up where you only provide your UID and region. This is a practical way to save big while supporting the channel. Always spend responsibly, and thank you for using my Loot Bar link and helping keeping the lights on here. Now, back to the video. The newest beta adjustment also clarify what each character is supposed to do. YangYang is officially positioned as a main Havoc damage dealer, but the biggest surprise is the addition of the traction combat tag. That means she now brings crowd control and enemy grouping alongside her heavy attack focused gameplay. It may sound like a small addition, but grouping enemies often translates directly into higher real-world damage because you're spending less time chasing targets and more time attacking. Suisui, on the other hand's identity is also much clearer now. She's firmly established as a healer and offensive support who specializes in glacial interactions while enabling Havoc teams through long-lasting buffs. Meanwhile, Electro Rover continues evolving into what looks like a future-proof utility character for upcoming Electro compositions rather than simply being another free DPS option. Now, let's talk about Electro Rover because he didn't receive flashy buffs, but the improvements solved several issues players pointed out during testing. The biggest quality of life upgrade is interruption immunity while using the block stance. That means you're far less likely to have your rotation interrupted by incoming attacks. Another welcome adjustment is that the thrum of all sounds attack now automatically triggers Thunderbane while also reducing Overshock's cooldown. These changes make the entire kit feel smoother instead of forcing players to fight against the mechanics. Perhaps the most impactful adjustment though is the extension of the Resident Skill damage bonus after Overshock. Instead of lasting only a few seconds, it now remains active for a longer period of time. That's a massive increase in uptime and makes long rotation significantly more forgiving. Overall, Electro Rover is becoming less about perfect execution and more about delivering stable performance across an entire fight. Next, we have Suisui, and if there's one character who keeps benefiting from these updates, it's her. Nearly every major change improves her value as a support. Her intro skill and awakening springs now group enemies together while even her basic attack chain contributes additional crowd control. That extra utility is something every team really appreciates, especially during wave-based content. Her Havoc support capabilities also received a major boost. The duration of her defense ignore and Havoc resistance ignore effects has doubled, and that gives Havoc teams far more flexibility during their rotations and makes maintaining her buffs much easier. Her Forte circuit also received substantial improvements. Her floral episode, for example, has increased dramatically, while both her healing, scaling, and critical bonuses have been improved. The result is a character that's easier to build because she can comfortably prioritize energy regen without sacrificing as much overall effectiveness. And finally, her second resonance chain has been completely redesigned. Instead of its previous effects, it now grants the entire team a massive critical damage buff after applying negative status effects. That's an enormous team-wide increase and reinforces Suisui's role as a premium support rather than simply another healer. And finally, we have YangYang, who also received one of the most comprehensive updates in this beta cycle. The focus wasn't simply increasing her damage, instead, the devs spent a lot of effort making her rotation smoother. Her Forte circuit now treats Assure as her default stance, while the critical damage bonuses tied to Bated Breath and Driving Mist have been increased significantly. Several awkward mechanics were also cleaned up, like her Feathered Oats duration increased from 1 second to a much longer time period, giving players much more breathing room during combos. However, the maximum critical damage bonus was slightly reduced. The longer duration should make maintaining those buffs much more consistent during actual gameplay, however. Another welcome quality of life improvement is that casting her Resonance Liberation now restores one Assure plume, making her rotation flow much more natural. Now, her Resonance Chains also saw meaningful upgrades. R1 now provides disruption resistance instead of full immunity, while both R2 and R3 received sizable damage increases for her Assure Sword stance and shadow attacks. On top of that, one of her inherent skills now grants an additional 8% critical rate, making it easier for players to hit ideal stat breakpoints without relying as heavily on echo substats. So, what does this mean for the meta? YangYang is still one of the strongest main DPS options out there even after the damage tweaks. Her best team right now is YangYang, Suisui, and Chisa, and it performs about as well as Hiyuki's top teams. Hiyuki still works well with Lucilla and Suisui as well. The big takeaway is Suisui. She keeps showing up in top teams because she offers healing, buffs, crowd control, and strong synergy with Havoc setups. Finally, Electro Rover still looks like a solid long-term mainstay for future Electro teams. So of course, beta numbers can still change before version 3.5 officially launches. But if these adjustments make it to final release, your pool decisions has become much more interesting than simply asking who's stronger. It now comes down to which investments will benefit your account the most months down the road. As always, if this video resonated with you, please leave a like and subscribe, ring that bell for massive gacha luck and maybe a sandwich. Thank you so much for watching. Maraming salamat po and I will see you in my next video drop. Goodbye!